I'm going to talk about recursive function. So what's the recursive function? Recursive function is a function call itself inside the function. Let's say if we have a sum, and inside the sum, let's say we have a curly bracket here. Inside sum, we have different statements. And there's one statement we call sum again. Let's look at the example. So we include the header file here. So this is our sum function. So the main thing about the recursive function is the base case and the recursive step. So if we want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that, it's common difference series. So the base case is a equal to 1. So we pass the parameter here in sum, and we have one parameter here. We start from 1. If the base case is a equal to 1, so return 1. If a is greater than 1, we return the sum a minus 1 plus a. So we calculate all the sum before a and add a to it. That's how we get the sum from a to 1. Let's just look at this, test this function first. So we want to test the sum function first. Coming out this first. So for the sum, let's test the base case first. So if we have a equal to 1, let's enter 1 here. So the sum from 1 to 1 is a 1. And then let's run it again. If we have 2, it should be 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. If we have 5, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. So we have the base case and we have the recursive step. So let's look at another example. If we want to calculate the factorial, let's say it's a factorial is a times a minus 1 times until we have 3 times 2 times 1. So this is how factorial works. So if we have a, we start from 1. If a equals 1, we return 1. If a is greater than 1, we use a times the factorial over the rest. That's how we get the factorial from 1 to a. Now let's test the factorial. So we want to print out the result for factorial here. Let's test the base case. If a equals to 1, should be 1. And if a equals to 2, it's 2. So if we have 10, so that's this number. So that's the result for 10 factorial. So we just need to remember we need to analyze the base case and also the recursive step. After that, we can just easily to create a loop function. So basically, recursive function is also kind of a loop function. It will cause some function again and again. So we can change that recursive function to loop function. So for example, you can change that to for loop, while loop, something like that. Now let's look at another concept, passing by value. Here, let's say if we want to swap the two numbers outside the function, we want to create a function that swaps the two numbers outside of the main function, and after that we want to call it inside the main function. So let's do it inside the main function first without calling anything. So we define a equal to 10, b equal to 20, and we want to swap them. So we print out before swapping the main function, after swapping the main function. So before the swap a equal to 10, b equal to 20, inside the main function, it did swap it. But we want to create a function that do the swap for us. So we can call the function again and again later on. So let's see if we can do it outside of them. So we define a function here. So first we want to pass in by value here. So we have two parameters a and b, and this is how we do the swap inside the main function. So before we do swap, we print the A and B, and then we print out A and B after we do the swap. We also print out after the swap here. Let's call the function passing by value first. See if it will do the swap for us. So before the swap, that's inside the in function, swap function. So A equal to 10, B equal to 20. After swap, A equal to 20, B equal to 20. So inside the function, it is swaps the A and B for us. And this is the end of the function. But after swap, in the main function, A and B is still the same, didn't swap for us. But what we want is we want swap define the function that do the swap for us. So we cannot do the swap by value. We have to do it by reference. So we have to pass the address of A and B inside the function here. So this is how we modify our swap function. We change the A and B to the reference, which is a pointer. Star means pointer. This is we pass the address to the parameter, and it will swap the address for us, which is the A and B will point to different address. Let's test the passing by reference again. So here, if it's reference, we need to pass the address of A and B to the function here, and after that we can print out the result again. That's right. So inside the swap function, it did swap for us, and after the function, it also swaps the A and B for us. So this is how we use the passing by value or pass by reference here. If it's value, it only works inside the function. If we want to use the value after it changed inside the function, we have to pass the variable by using reference, not just the value itself. So we have to pass the address to it. That way it will modify the variables here, not just the variable inside the function here. This is everything for today's video. Thank you for watching.